For more now, we're joined in studio by Energy Secretary Chris Wright. Thank you so much for your time, Secretary. Really appreciate you joining us. You presided over the UN Security Council session today in New York, speaking out against Iran's brutal regime and talking about the need for energy, saying that energy is life. Here in the U.S., the national average for a gallon of gas is $3.26. That's up 28 cents in the past week, according to Gas Buddy. You've said that higher energy costs are, quote, a small price to pay if it means the removal of the Iranian regime. But just so the American at home knows, how long can we expect to pay higher prices at the pump?
It's brief. It's very temporary. This is a 47-year-long conflict with Iran that finally will come to an end in the next few weeks. We don't know the exact length, but pretty temporary,
Of course, many people know that there are security concerns right now in the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump has suggested that perhaps the U.S. Navy could escort ships through. Is there a timeline for that?
No specific timeline, but not far away. I mean, our military right now is focused entirely on degrading Iran's ability to terrorize Americans and its neighbors. So rockets, launchers, drones, we are knocking down Iran's ability to cause trouble in the neighborhood. So that's the focus right now. But before long, we'll be able to get ship traffic flowing out of the Strait of Hormuz again.
You've talked to shipping companies about the possibility of offering them insurance that would be backed by the United States government. Have those companies suggested that they might go forward with that if they had that assurance?
Not today. There is commercial insurance markets. What we're going to do is backstop or reinsure existing commercial markets, but when it's time. Right now, the biggest issue is just physical security. You don't want to run a large tanker ship through the Strait of Hormuz today, but that'll change in the not too distant future.
How concerned are you about the safety of the Strait of Hormuz today?
Oh, today it's in a very active conflict zone, and Iran is very focused on fire. They've hit a number of tankers. Iran is a little caged lion right now, and they are fearful that their ability to terrorize their neighbors and kill Americans is going to come to an end soon. So it's a conflict zone right now, but again, that's quite a temporary event.
Just today, Iran state media reported that a U.S. tanker was hit in the northern Gulf. Can you confirm that?
I have not heard that news today, actually. But again, I think the key thing to look at is we're in a conflict today that'll be quite temporary. We've had 47 years where Iran, they were shooting tanker ships 40 years ago. They have been a menace in that region, and that region is a major supplier of energy. Imagine the flow of energy when Iran is no longer a menace. Quickly after this conflict, energy prices will be back down to where they were before. And now we've got a long road ahead where energy prices will have more downward pressure.
Have you spoken with the president about oil costs in particular?
Oh, absolutely.
And can you share anything of what that conversation looks like? Because as you know, many Americans are feeling the impact specifically with gas prices in the midst of the war.
Oh, the president's passionate about this. Like, he got elected to bring common sense back to Washington, D.C. And one of the worst things Washington, D.C. did during the Biden administration, drive up electricity prices 30%. No increase in electricity production, just higher prices. Drove gasoline prices up dramatically. Gasoline prices today, in the midst of this conflict, are 1/3 lower than they were in the middle of the Biden administration. And natural gas prices today are half what they were in the middle of the Biden administration. So yes, they're more than they were a month or two ago, more than we'd like them to be, but dramatically lower than the previous administration. And that's because America's the biggest producer of oil on the world by far, and the largest producer of natural gas, and both are growing. We want to insulate our citizens as much as we can from energy markets, bring jobs, reindustrialization, and opportunity to the United States. But we got to fix a long-term problem that everyone wanted to just kick the can down the road. President Trump's like, time to end a 47-year conflict.
Just one more question on the oil. How much higher do you think that it could go?
Oh, I don't know. Markets set that. But there's meaningful oil supply in the world. Again, U.S. at very record production right now. There's a lot of floating storage of oil around the world that's easily accessible. We have significant oil stores in the United States and our Strategic Petroleum Reserve. Our allies that we've been coordinating with have sent excess oil out in storage around the world. The world is at absolutely zero risk of running out of oil or energy through this conflict, but we are suffering short-term price dislocation. That'll be over soon.
Any reaction to President Trump's termination of Kristi Noem?
Kristi is a hardworking member of that team. I'm taken back to how quickly she and the president closed the border. Just an amazing driver of crime in the United States is just this unchecked flow of migrants. Last year in 2025, we had the largest drop in annual murders ever in U.S. history to a very low level right now. So closing the border quickly, focusing on law enforcement, tremendous success record.
I was told by a little bird that you may have some news to break today, and so I just want to give you that opportunity to say that, if that's
so back to your question about oil. We need to get oil on the market in the short term. In the long term, supplies are abundant. There's no worries there. But as oil gets bid up a little bit because of those constraints coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, we're taking a short-term action to say all this floating Russian oil storage that's around southern Asia, it's China just backed up. China does not treat their suppliers well. So there's a bunch of floating barrels just sitting there. We've reached out to our friends in India and said, buy that oil, bring it into your refineries. That pulls stored oil immediately into Indian refineries and releases the pressure on other refineries around the world to buy oil that they're no longer competing with the Indians for in that marketplace. So we have a number of measures like that that are short-term and temporary. This is no change in policy towards Russia. This is a very brief change in policy just to keep oil prices down a little bit better than we could otherwise.
Secretary Chris Wright, we so appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Linsey.